Hi everyone, it's Michael. I am so excited. I have been after this orchid for quite some time, but today I finally picked up myself an Ascocenda. An Ascocenda is a really interesting orchid. It's a hybrid between a Vanda and an Ascocentrum. So you have all the fabulous things about the Vanda orchid, but you have the compactness and the color palette of the Ascocentrum, which is really cool. Very similar in temperament to a Vanda, loves light, sun worshiper, and also pretty similar watering protocol. I have never done anything like this with this type of orchid, but I am going to try it in semi-hydroponics. I'm not going to completely convert it, I guess, because I'm going to have it hover right above the reservoir and some of the leca pebbles that are a little bit more moist, just to create more humidity and see if it starts to grow and venture downwards into the medium. So this is going to be somewhat of an experiment, but I do want to show you what the process of repotting this looks like. So let's go in closer and I will walk you through it. All right, my friends, as always, I wanted to walk you through my toolkit. So first and foremost, the thing that you'll need is your new Ascocenda orchid. I actually visited this one at the garden center a couple of times before I finally pulled the trigger and got it. I just think it's so gorgeous. This is a Betty May Steel Carmela. It is orange with some red spotting, but it actually translates almost more like a salmon. It is so beautiful. The next thing you're going to need is your semi-hydroponic container with your holes pre-drilled. I will attach a link of how I drill these holes in the description below. Next thing you'll need is your alcohol to sterilize any of your cutting tools. Of course, you want to make sure you're not spreading anything. Duct tape, you'll see what this is for. And then Physand 20, which is my absolute favorite. It's an algicide, fungicide, bactericide, virucide. It just ensures that if you brought anything in, if anything came riding in on your new orchid, that you'll kill it. So I've already pre-mixed the formula. It's 2 teaspoons of the Physand 20 per every 1 gallon, so I've got it mixed here. And I also have some in my spray bottle. Last but not least, of course, you have your hydrogen clay pebbles, so we can get to the repotting portion, and let's jump in. So the first thing I'm going to do may seem a little weird, but I am going to use this duct tape to tape up the aeration holes that I created when I drilled into this glass. I know that may seem confusing, but this is a fabulous way. Anytime I need to go through the disinfecting process and I want to soak my plants, it allows me to do it right in the container without disturbing them. So I just tape off the holes so I have a nice little airtight seal, which will allow me to fill this up with liquid without it going everywhere. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sterilized scissors and I am going to start cutting the container off of this guy. As you can see, these really do get married to their containers, so I want to be diligent to not disturb that too much, but I'm going to go ahead and get that process started. You want to be extra gentle, obviously. All right, finally, there we are. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this as gently as possible. Oh no, these really don't want to come out. This is so stressful. I just want to make sure that I don't hurt the plant because I am a sensitive young man. All right, so let's get these guys threaded through. There we are. Okay, finally. Beautiful. Okay. Now I am just going to go ahead and pick all of the media out of the roots. Okay. Well, and that is just lovely. I think I got it, for the most part, all out. So before I give this guy a wash, I just want to make note, look at the color of the roots. Obviously, you can see some of the green tips. It is in active growth mode, which is such a treat because it's going to do really well. But the color of the dry roots is what I'm mostly wanting you to note. So that is what it looks like before I run it under the water. Now, I am going to use tepid water because these are tropical plants and you don't want to shock their systems. Now take note of the color the roots are after they've been washed. They've gone from that silvery to this nice semi-green, so you can tell what the healthy roots are and which ones are dead. So from here, I am going to go ahead and start to remove some of the dead or damaged roots. Right. So I believe I have removed most of the dead or rotting root system. So now comes the next step. Remember when I duct taped that glass container? Well, this is why. I'm going to place all of the root system and as much of the plant as I can fit in there into this glass container. And then my Physand 20 solution is going to come very much in handy because I'm going to soak this entire system for an hour. So now that that's in there, I already have my premixed solution in here. and I am going to go ahead and just fill her up. Beautiful. And before I set my timer to let this go and just do its thing, I'm going to diligently avoid spraying the flowers, but I am, however, going to spray the leaves as best as I can using the Fertilizing 20 solution that I have in my spray bottle. And again, this is just to make sure that anything that came riding in on this plant is dead. So that is what that looks like. And now that it is all sprayed, soaked, and completely immersed in the Fertilizing 20 solution, I will set my timer. Okay, Google, set a timer for 1 hour.
All right, 1 hour. And we're starting now.
While it disinfects, I just thought I would take you in for a close-up of the root system. How gorgeous is that? These are such interesting plants. Absolutely lovely. All right, everyone. While you were away, I went ahead and drained the Fertilizing solution from the plant, and I arranged a thin layer of hydrogen clay pebbles on the bottom and left the duct tape on. And the reason for that is I am going to fertilize. Now, I've already prepared my fertilizer solution. I will link the video about how I water and fertilize my plants, but these guys are heavy feeders, so I'm doing weekly, but almost even weaker because this one will be getting it almost daily. So I have already put a little bit of the fertilizer solution in the bottom, but I'm going to go ahead and top it off and allow it to soak for about 15 minutes. We're almost there. So one of the final steps is going to be to remove the duct tape and allow it to drain out. Now, after I allow this to drain out, bear in mind how imperative it is to have some form of a crosswind or breeze or proper airflow just to help this plant. It really relies heavily on having moving air. So I have my overhead fans going. I'm going to place it at my light station with a lot of bright light. But you want to make sure that it has moving air so it can continue to breathe. It is imperative for this type of orchid. Finally, we've reached a stopping point, but this is going to be where my new orchid hangs out, alongside my Psychopsis, my Cattleya, and my Catasetum. But it looks just gorgeous. It is on a heat mat to help it acclimate to its new system, and it is also well lit at 16 hours a day. If you have any questions about my lighting setup, go ahead and check out the video that I've linked below. But I am looking forward to this continuing to give lots of blooms and just be stunning. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, or comment if you have any questions.